Alright guys, welcome to Team RobbA's channel. It's your boy Purple RobbA. Today we got Green RobbA back here to do another deck profile video of his version of the Freezing Chain. So without further ado, we'll have him take over.
What's going on? It's Green RobbA. Yeah, back with the ice barriers here. It's probably my second favorite deck right now behind the Harpies. Having some pretty good luck with it. I know it doesn't seem to be too favored, but I personally enjoy it, and this is my take on the deck. It's still kind of in the process of being built, and there's still tweaks being made all the time, but this is what we got so far. So without further ado, let's get in here. So first off, we got two Hexa Spirit of the Ice Barriers. This is one of our tuners we use. Need him to get our big bad synchros out. Let's see. So all these guys have quite a few different effects. This guy will reduce all monsters, your opponent's monsters, attack by 500. Attack and defense by 500. So that's kind of a nice little buff. I mean, generally you're just trying to get your synchros off right away, but it's not always a perfect world. So sometimes these guys will be sitting out in the field, so you kind of want your best tuners for the situation. You can also, during your main phase, you can send a level 3 or lower ice barrier from your deck to your graveyard, and you can tweak the levels on your board. So this guy just really helps you get your tuners and get the right stars to get the synchros that you need. So two of these guys. We got one Fishborg Launcher. It's another one of our tuners. This one, if you have this guy in your graveyard and you have nothing but water monsters, which is a kind of a big theme to only have water monsters in here because some of the cards work with that really well. But if you only have the water monsters, you can summon this guy back out from the graveyard for another synchro summon. So it's another great way another good tuner to get to those synchros, and you even get 2 uses out of him. So he's great to have. We've got one Blizzed Defender of the Ice Barrier. This is just kind of a filler card. When he's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you get to draw a card. So sometimes you just don't have anything really, and you got this guy chilling out with face down defense. He can get you another card, hopefully. So, good old Blizzed holding it down. All right. We got two Zujin of the Ice Barrier. So this guy is really good. So you can tribute him on the board and special summon a level 5 or higher Ice Barrier monster from your hand. So if you have any of your higher star Ice Barriers in hand, you can just bring them out with this guy. So that's really nice. Literally just pull him out. He's also got a graveyard effect. You can target a level 3 or higher water monster I control, and you can reduce its level by 2 and bring him out. So it's just another, with the synchro monsters, you're always trying to get the right stars. So it just helps you get what you need and tweak the board, and this is another great card to do that. So 2 Zujin. He's awesome. We've got 2 Prior of the Ice Barriers. It's another really powerful card. If you control an Ice Barrier monster, you can special summon this from your hand, and you can also tribute this guy, and you can target 1 Ice Barrier monster in your graveyard and special summon him. So this guy is very powerful. If you have any of your synchro monsters or any of your higher level cards in the graveyard, this guy can just yoink them right back. Those Prior, the Ice Barrier, super powerful. 2 of these guys for sure. All right, we got 1 Cryomancer of the Ice Barrier. This is kind of a stalling card. He's a tuner. While you have another Ice Barrier, level 4 or higher monsters cannot declare an attack. This is a great stall card. If, again, you can't get your summons off right away and you just don't have anything, you can get this guy out, and anything level 4 or higher is not attacking. So it can kind of shut people down until you get what you need. So one of those guys. All right, we got 2 Defender of the Ice Barrier. This is one of my main tuners I use a lot. He's a level 3, which is kind of the stars that go with the main combo, which we'll talk about later. But this is one of my main tuners for sure. His effect is if you have another Ice Barrier, which is the theme of Ice Barriers, they need buddies. Your opponent's monsters cannot declare an attack if their attack is higher than his 1600 defense. So anything 1600 or higher cannot declare an attack. So another great staller just like the Cryomancer. If can't get our synchro off right away, we can have our defender here do exactly what he says and defend us for a little bit until we get that. So here is one of our main cards, Speaker for the Ice Barrier. She's amazing. If you have any other Ice Barrier monster out, you can special summon her right from your hand, and there's no restrictions. So that's amazing. You just get to bring her out for free. Well, you have another Ice Barrier monster on the field. Your opponent's monsters cannot change their battle positions, and this is a great combo with one of our trap cards we'll get to later. So that is, I love that effect. And on top of all of that, she has a graveyard effect where you can banish this card and you can special summon a token, which is just another way for us to get the synchro monsters we need out if we need that one extra star monster. The Speaker of the Ice Barrier is absolutely insane. This is one of our best cards. We got 3 of her for sure. And then we've got 2 Revealer of the Ice Barriers. This is another one of our main cards. If we can get this card in our hand with Speaker, it's a dream come true. So this guy lets us discard a card, and we get to search an Ice Barrier tuner right from our deck. And we're usually going to grab our defender with that 3-star. And if we can have the Revealer out, and we can get Speaker out, and the tuner, we can pull out our Big Daddy Trishula really fast. So this guy basically helps us pull the tuners right from the deck. I mean, you can't ask for much more. Another one of our main cards. We got 2 of these. Might even need to get a 3rd one, but he's been doing just fine. All right. We've got 1 Judge of the Ice Barrier. We've just got 1 of these right now. This is a newer Ice Barrier card that was just recently released. So I've just kind of got her in there to see how she does. She's got a couple different effects. She's got one, or if you've got an Ice Barrier, if your opponent activates a card or effect by paying life points, they lose 500 life points. That's kind of nice against certain decks that use their life points as ammo. You can also get monsters from your graveyard back into your deck, and she also has a graveyard effect where you can banish her and target an attack position monster and change it to defense. She's got a couple things going for her. Still kind of testing this card. She's 1800 4-star, so she's pretty well-rounded. So I'm liking the Judge so far. So just one of her for now. We've got 1 Silent Angler. This card's great. It's kind of like Speaker. If you control a water monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Well, the catch with him is you can't special summon monsters from your hand for the rest of the turn, unlike where Speaker can just come out for free. But this is another great card where we run only water cards in this deck. But we're always only going to control a water monster. So if we get him, we can special summon him out, and that just gets us closer to our extra deck. So Silent Angler's great. All right, done with the 4 stars. Let's get to the bigger guys. We got 1 General Wayne of the Ice Barrier. So spells and traps from the field to your opponent's graveyard are banished instead. This is great. There's so many graveyard effects these days. It's nice to get some of that off, get it out of the graveyard, and get it banished, so you don't have to see it again later. So that's a really nice effect to have. Let's see here. So yes, if your opponent controls a monster and you have an Ice Barrier monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. That's also wonderful. He's a 5-star, 2100. Pulling him out for free feels pretty good, and the banished effect is really nice. You also, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add an Ice Barrier spell trap from your deck to your hand. So yeah, this guy's pretty loaded. You can basically get any Ice Barrier spell trap, yeah, right from deck to hand, and there's all sorts of things we can do with that. So this card is great. General Wayne of the Ice Barrier. A lot of effects on all these cards. Definitely love to see it. We got 1 General Raiho of the Ice Barrier. I like this guy. When your opponent's monster activate effects, they have to either discard or the effect is negated. So you're not necessarily stopping an effect or doing anything crazy, but you are making them discard, and I think that's pretty powerful. And if they can't discard, they can't use the effect, so there is that. So I like this guy. Yeah, 1 of him. Anything to shave down their hand is always great. We got 1 Dai Sojo of the Ice Barrier. If Oh, you don't have to have an ice barrier for him. But if any ice barrier monsters control will be destroyed by spell. What is he? Oh, ice barrier monsters you control cannot be destroyed by spell and traps. Yes. So he protects all of your ice barriers from spell and trap cards. So he is great. Defender, you just stick him out in defense and let him sit there. And they pretty much have to do something about him, especially if you get the defense trap combo that we'll see later. He's wonderful. You can set up a really nice defense with a couple cards. So we got one General Gantala of the Ice Barrier. Once per turn, during the end phase, you can target an Ice Barrier monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So another crazy card. We can special summon any of our synchros or any of our strong Ice Barrier cards and bring them right out of the graveyard every turn. So this guy is great. Definitely get him out if you can. And we've got Medium of the Ice Barrier. So this card can come in handy, especially on like if you're going second. If your opponent controls 4 or more cards than you do, you can special summon her from your hand, and they can only activate one spell or trap card each turn. This card you can get out for free quite often. There's a lot of scenarios where your opponent's going to have a lot more cards than you do, and it's just so easy to just pull this out for free, and it feels great. And the added only one spell trap per turn is just extra toppings on top of all that. So she's really nice. And lastly, for our normal monsters, we have General Grenard of the Ice Barrier. And this guy, during your main phase, you can normal summon one Ice Barrier monster in addition to your normal summon. So basically, I mean, if you've got the cards in hand, you can get two cards out per turn with him with normal summons, which is awesome. So as long as you have the resources, this guy's fantastic. So he's one of our better normal monsters, one of our big guys. That'll do it for the normal. We'll get into the spells here. We've got 2 wins over the Ice Barrier. This just lets you trade out Ice Barrier cards, basically. If I want to get to any of my searchers, and you just have one of the defenders, maybe, I mean, this is great to just swap things out. You can tribute any number of Ice Barrier monsters and special summon from your deck that many level 4 or more. The same amount, basically. So this is great for swapping out Ice Barrier cards and getting to what you need. And since we run so many Ice Barriers, it's a pretty good chance that's what we're going to have out. So 2 of those. We've got 2 Medallion of the Ice Barriers. These are our super generic, add 1 Ice Barrier monster from deck to hand. Simple but powerful. Just being able to pull any Ice Barrier monster from deck to hand is obviously great. We can get anything we need. So if we get this card, this can really get us started and get us going in the direction we need. We got 2 of those. We've got 1 Freezing Chains of the Ice Barrier. This is a continuous spell. When it's activated, you can target a level 4 or lower Ice Barrier monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So, I mean, on activation, you get the free level 4 right from the graveyard. That's kind of a nice thing, obviously. And then while you control 3 or more Ice Barrier monsters, your Ice Barrier monsters are unaffected by your opponent's extra deck activated effects, monsters effects. So that one's kind of niche, but again, just more protection for the Ice Barriers, and there's obviously a lot of power in the extra deck these days. So I guess the biggest thing is having the 3 or more Ice Barrier monsters to get it. But if all the stars align and you have that, it is a really nice defense, and the special summon is great. So one of these, definitely good to have. We've got 1 Magic Triangle of the Ice Barrier. This card is great. Reveal 3 Ice Barrier monsters with different names in your hand, and then you target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy that target. And if you do, special summon 1 Ice Barrier monster from hand. So again, we run a lot of Ice Barrier cards, or as many as we can. And there's a lot of times where, yeah, you're going to have 3 in your hand probably. And so this is a great card. You can destroy one of their cards and special summon even more things, which is a pretty big theme in this deck. That one is great to have. We've got 1 Salvage. This is good old school. Target 2 water monsters with 1500 or less attack in your graveyard and add them to your hand. This is great to get your tuners back. A lot of them have very low attack. They're all water, so this is perfect. Just keep getting resources back in the hand, keep pulling off our combos. Salvage is great to have. Good old school card. We've got one Surface. Target a level 3 or lower fish, sea serpent, aqua monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense. Again, level 3 or lower, that's most likely going to be one of our tuners. So just getting tuners out of the graveyard, special summoning them right back on the field. I mean, this just sets us up for all of our combos. So really good to have one of those. Last spell, definitely last but not least, the Moray of Greed. I love this card. It's an iteration of Pot of Greed. Um, Shuffle 2 water monsters from your hand into the deck and then draw 3 cards. This card is absolutely amazing. Again, all of our cards are water, so very good odds we're going to have 2 water monsters in hand. And if we don't like what we have or we need something different, we just shuffle them back into the deck and draw 3. And that's a lot of cards for not. We're not giving anything up. We're not banishing anything. Nothing's going to the graveyard. We're just trading things out and even getting a little extra on top. This one is fantastic. I was really happy to find this card at a shop. Very cool to add into the deck. All right, now on to the trap cards. We've got one Tear of Trishula. So this one gives us effects depending on how many Ice Barrier Synchro monsters we have on the field with different names. So it's, again, you're not always going to have a bunch of multiple synchros. I mean, you definitely will at some points, but just even if you just have one, you get to banish one card your opponent controls. That's still useful. So this card's great, and if you can get more, 2 or 3, you get even more effects. This is a nice trap card that can do a lot of things for you depending on how many of those synchros you can get out. But definitely a good trap to have. One of those. All right, so we got 2 Ishbans. So this is the card I was talking about. You can do the defense combo with. If a non-water monster is normal or special summoned while you control a water monster, change the summon monster to defense position. So this is great with Speaker because Speaker doesn't allow your opponent's monsters to change their battle positions, and one of our other guys changes everybody to this changes everyone to defense. She doesn't let them change out. And let's see here. What was our other guy we were talking about earlier? It's a wonderful combo. And then you have your Ice Barrier monsters can't be destroyed by spell and traps from Dai Sojo. So if you have him sitting in defense and they can't do anything about it, and all their stuff is stuck in defense, it is. I've stalled some games out for a very long time with this combo because your opponent just can't do anything about it because there's so many things they have to take care of before they can take down your defenses. So love this card. Continuous trap. They have to do something about it or they're not going to be having fun. So great to have those. We've got 2 Heavy Storm Dusters. Just target up to 2 spell traps in the field and destroy them. This is just some spell trap removal. We don't have a ton of it in the deck, so good to have a couple of these to get rid of some of those pesky spell and traps that are preventing us from doing what we want. We've got 1 Crackdown. You get to target one of your opponent's monsters and take control of that. Always a nice thing. So if there's something you're able to hijack, this is a great card. So definitely a frustrating one, but Crackdown, one of those. And our last one, this is another card I've just recently gotten, and I love it. Angel Statue Azaroon. This is a continuous trap. Basically, it's a trap monster. You get special summoned, and you're able to tribute him to either negate one of your opponent's special summons, which is fantastic, to stop any combo or any extra deck or anything like that from getting going. Or if something attacks it and destroys it, you get to destroy that monster as well. This is a fantastic card to get out there, and I mainly use it for the special summon negate. Like a hand trap in a way, but just a trap monster. But if they do want to attack it, it's taking whatever with it. So this is a great card. This has been an awesome find. Another one of those I found at a shop randomly, and a great addition to the deck. So that's the main deck. I'm going to jump over to the extra deck now. So we've got 2 of Big Daddy Trishula, 0 Dragon of the Ice Barrier. So this is our premier card. This is what we're aiming to get out. This is our 11-star Synchro. I said normally we're going to do the combo with Speaker, Defender, and another level 4, a 4/4/3 to get her out. But yeah, we're trying to get to her as quickly as possible when she's synchro summoned, you can banish up to 3 cards your opponent controls. So that's pretty fantastic. She's only 2,700, which is a little on the lower side. It's still up there, but the three banish is really nice, especially depending on when you get her out. It's not a great first turn card, definitely not a great first turn card, unfortunately, but anything past that's usually pretty great. And then when she gets destroyed, you get to special summon Trishula, OG Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. And if you get her out using Zero Dragon's effect, instead of it being a 2,700 card, it goes to 3,300, and then you have the attack of any face-up monsters your opponent currently controls, also negate their effects. So if Trishula gets destroyed, let's see her exact wording. If is destroyed by an opponent's card. So if she is destroyed by an opponent's card, you get this one out all juiced up and you slice everyone's attack on the field. So that is insane, and most people don't want to do that, obviously. So they have to figure a way around zero. They don't have to deal with souped up Trishula. So this is the crux of our deck. This is what we're trying to have happen. These are very powerful cards. Love them. So we're hoping Trishula gets destroyed and we get the souped out version. And then that's usually pretty much game, hopefully. That's really what the whole deck is all about. Let's get the supporting cast in here. So we've got Gungnir, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. I use him quite often. If I can't get my 11 star for the Zero Dragon, I'll usually pull him with 7 because that's pretty reasonable. Just a 4 and a 3 most of the time. And once per turn, you can discard up to 2 cards to the graveyard and destroy the same number of cards your opponent controls. So that's pretty great, obviously, as long as you have the resources in hand to do so. You can do the 1 or 2, and you can just trade things. So Gungnir, he's great to have. 2 of him. We've got 2 Brynak, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. He's a 6-star tuner, or synchro, sorry. You can discard any number of cards to the graveyard and then target the same number of cards your opponent controls and return them to hand. So this is pretty great too. He's kind of like Gungnir, except instead of destroying them, he returns them to hand, which can, I mean, depending on what you have, that can be all the time you need if you can get some stuff off the field and either end it or get some stuff out that you need. So if you have the resources in hand, this is another great card to free up the field, help you out. We've got 1 Coral Dragon in here. He's just kind of filler because he fits in nicely. Once per turn, you can discard a card and target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. So again, kind of the same thing before, discarding to destroy. It's just another option. So if we can't get the other guys out, and these are the stars we have to work with for a synchro, then we can pull him out as well. We've got 2, I'm actually not sure how to say his name, Deloran, Tiger King of the Ice Barrier. I don't use this very often. I feel like there's some tweaking that could be done to make him really good. I feel like he has some potential. But you can target any number of other face-up cards you control and return them to your hand. And if you do, this card gains 500 attack for each card returned to the hand by this way until the end of the next turn. So if you could potentially fill the board and return everything to hand, you could really juice him up for a turn and do some damage. But that could also kind of mess up some other things you're trying to do. So I feel like there's definitely some tweaking you could do for him specifically to make this combo really good. But I usually don't play around that right now, at least. But it's still good to have him in there because I do think it's a strong effect, and there could be some times where it's very useful. So we got 2 of him in here for now. All right, and we've got 2 number 101 Silent Honor Arc. This is just a nice water level 4 XYZ monster. You can detach its material and then target a special summon monster your opponent controls, and you can attach it to this card as material. So that's pretty strong. If your opponent's got a special summon monster you need to get rid of, this guy can just gobble them right up. That's kind of nice to have. Definitely useful. Got 2 of him. And then again, last but not least, we have Abyss Dweller, and he's just another rank 4 water XYZ. Fits in very nicely. 2 level 4 water monster, or 2 level 4 monsters, sorry. Well, this card has an XYZ material attached that was originally water, which again, they're all water, so it works out perfect. All water monsters you control gain 500 attack. So he's originally 1700. He he buffs himself to 22, and all of our other waters 500. So that is awesome. It's a nice buff for the deck. But mainly what I have him for is once per turn, during either player's turn, you can detach a material, and any card effects that activate in your opponent's graveyard cannot activate this turn. This is great for shenanigans happening in the graveyard. I've been running into a lot of graveyard abilities lately, and a card like this can really help you shut that down. You can get your stuff done and get set up. So Abyss Dweller is super nice to do that, just so you have more options to deal with things. And that is it. That is the Ice Barrier deck. Um, like I said, I know it's not a popular deck, but I've enjoyed dealing with it quite a bit. I've had pretty decent success. It's a fun deck for sure. There's still a lot of tweaking to be done. Yeah, this is where I'm at with it right now.
Sweet. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
showing it off. Definitely appreciate it, man.
no problem.
And we do some more tweaking later on and change it up, then we can do another one, more tweaked version of the deck.
Yeah, I'd love to do an update later on if I make some pretty changeable tweaks. And I'm sure there's still plenty to do, so that'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. Well, yeah. Thanks again, and we appreciate you guys watching the videos. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little bell so you get the notifications for new videos. Yeah, we appreciate the love. We really do. Thank you for watching.